Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Welsey Hunt calls out this know-nothing Democrat not only for getting it completely wrong in this take, but for being hypocritical about a two-tiered justice system. Let's dive in.
What Republicans are offering is a plan to redefine who gets to be American. And it's a big step towards a country where Americanness itself applies to only a privileged few, and a country where future and past generations are relegated to an underclass status. They're trying to stake out who is a real American, and it will leave a whole lot of people out. And this, I think, is a frightening road to go down. The arguments we've heard have been with us since our founding, as you pointed out, Professor Frost. The Dred Scott decision changed the common law understanding of birthright citizenship for all. It enabled slave owners to use the law to take away citizenship, to take away identity, to take away the freedom of Black people. The 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act of 1866 were a direct response to Dred Scott. The law grants citizenship to people born in this country, plain and simple. Yet here we are, over 150 years later, talking about how maybe the straightforward language of the law could possibly or should actually be used to deny citizenship for often people of color. Ms. Frost, did the framers of the 14th Amendment intend to extend birthright citizenship to the children of slaves and other non-citizens?
Yes, the Reconstruction Congress could not have been clearer. They used clearer language, and their discussions that followed made this clear. They said, of course, they wanted to overrule Dred Scott, which included giving citizenship to all enslaved Americans, including those who had arrived illegally because they'd been illegally imported after the laws prohibited it. They were the illegal aliens of the day. The Reconstruction Congress said, we want them to have citizenship.
In conclusion, because I see that I'm out of time, doing away with birthright citizenship is an intentional choice to give this president, I believe, massive power to dictate who is and who is not an American. I yield back.
I understand more than anyone that we are a nation of immigrants, but there's a difference, stark difference, between giving citizenship to the children of slaves, the children of those subject to the Middle Passage, the children of sharecroppers, and the children of those who were once considered property, and giving citizenship to the children of people who crossed the border illegally, stay in taxpayer-funded luxury hotels, who receive free Xboxes, free cell phones, free flights around the country, and 3 square meals a day. There's a big difference. My great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, Rosedown Plantation in Louisiana. He had to join the Union Color Guard to gain his freedom. By morphing the citizenship clause into something that it wasn't meant to be, it's demeaning to descendants of slaves like me. And not just me who served this country, but my father is a retired colonel. My sister went to West Point as a retired colonel. My brother went to West Point. We are talking about a direct descendant of a slave that earned the right to be in this country and passed that ilk down to his ancestry. People bled for it. People died for it. And it means something. The purpose of the 14th Amendment that President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order is that the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment was never meant to apply to children of illegal or legal aliens. Allowing birthright citizenship to stay in place dilutes the citizenship of not just Black Americans like me, but every single American citizen that had to earn it the right way. Let's say this in black and white. Either you're a U.S. citizen or you are not. Now, the left has spent decades cheapening what it means to be an American citizen. They've quite literally been chipping away at the basic value of American citizenship. They pretend to be altruistic, but we know the truth. Ozzy Osbourne's daughter said on The View that we have to let illegal immigrants in this country because who else will clean our toilets? We hear it all the time. Who will pick our crops? And even though that we know that American citizens are the majority of those people picking our crops, we know what you're insinuating. The left throws love thy neighbor in our face, and they say that we have to have open borders in order to be nice to people. Well, I ask them to tell the left, We have a bunch of neighbors right here in our country that are Americans. You see, your neighbors are the homeless veterans that you drive by to work. Our neighbors are the wayward teens running away from a bad home environment. Your neighbors are the families who just got evicted from their apartment. What do all those neighbors have in common? They're all Americans. And let's use our American tax-paying dollars to put Americans first. Newsflash, this is why President Trump is our president, because it's past due that we put the American citizen first. And once we solve our issues here, I'm a Christian. By God, let's help everybody else. But at this point, we have enough problems to fix in our own country, and this must stop. Thank you for your time.
Welsey Hunt's story and his family history is an amazing bit of America's past and a real testament to who we are as a people. Remember, Americans always try to get better. We try to live up to the values of protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the best part about being American. We're constantly trying to achieve that goal. And there's a whole lot to be said for it. Because deep down, we have a fundamental issue here. But we're going over a major problem that we haven't found a good solution to. And part of it, ironically, is the way our laws are written, particularly the amendments to the Constitution. We're having an argument over the 14th Amendment. And before I get into the law side, which is one of my favorite things to do, I've got to call out this Democrat. Representative Balint, I believe is her name. And she does not need to be talking about a two-tier justice system. She doesn't say those words directly, but after the lockdowns, when the Democrat states went crazy, guess who we caught partying on camera time and time and time again? It tended to be Democrat leadership. Rules for me, not for thee. Or sorry, rules for thee, not for me. I'm a little dyslexic like that. I'll get things backwards all the time. But the Democrat Party has known darn good and well that they love having a political underclass. Quite literally, their modus operandi when they govern, they want wealthy people paying the majority of taxes, and they want poor people that subsist off the taxes. They hate the idea of a middle class. They absolutely despise it because middle class people tend to be more suburban. They tend to be more independent. They don't really like bureaucracy, and Democrats love that bureaucracy. Hey, y'all. Experts say they rig the markets, print the money, and manipulate the system. But here's the truth. They can't print gold. While the dollar weakens, physical gold and silver stay real, tangible, uncontrolled. When banks go digital and emergencies lock you out of your own funds, gold and silver won't need an internet connection or government permission. Their value is outside the system, a time-tested insurance policy against tyranny, inflation, and economic resets. So don't wait until the trap is sprung. Own what the elites hoard behind closed doors. Physical gold and silver off the grid, because when the system fails, real money talks. And to help you learn more about owning physical gold and silver, we have partnered with the great company Goldco, which supports this channel, which we deeply appreciate. So check out PolitiBrawlGold.com for more info and see if you might even qualify for free silver. That's PolitiBrawlGold.com. And so, what we're really seeing over and over and over again is Democrats really not liking it whenever the Republicans call them out for having this constant underclass. And yet she is projecting. Democrats deflect and deny, but leftists project and they pout. They project and they pout. And that's what she's doing here. But back to Welsey Hunt, who is rightfully calling her out and rightfully talking about what it actually means to earn your citizenship. It is something that should be earned. But here's the legal conundrum that we're in, and it's because of the way some of our laws are written. For instance, the Second Amendment is poorly written. Let's be honest. I love the Second Amendment. All right? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But the way the 14th Amendment is written does present a bit of a problem. And I'll explain it here. In Section 1, 14th Amendment, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And then it goes on to talk about no state shall take away these rights without due process. So in other words, if you were born in America, you are here as a citizen, legally. End of story. Except there's a problem. That means that if you come here, you have a child, and then you yoink the child back out, take it to your home country, technically you've got American citizenship. That's a problem. That didn't used to be a problem back in the 1800s when this was written. And I'm not an originalist. All right, I am not someone who wants to interpret the spirit of the law. What did the framers and the founders and the people who wrote these laws actually mean? No, you need to look at what was written. And if there's a problem with what's written, you need to change it. And there's a problem with what's written. I just gave you an example. Let's say someone from, let's say Canada. Some Canadian comes in, they're on holiday here in the States. They have a child here on vacation. Maybe the child was born premature, and they go back to Canada. So is the baby Canadian? Is the baby a U.S. citizen? Is it both? Or is that even something that we should allow? And I'm not saying you can't come here and have children. That's not the problem. I'm saying that citizenship, should that be extended? Personally, I don't think so. I think citizenship requires something else entirely. But what was going on during the 1860s, after the war between the states and the North, which, by the way, I'm not a Southern sympathizer. I am a Union hater, though, because the North botched Reconstruction. They just screwed it up. But the problem you then have was what happens with the freed slaves. You've had the 13th Amendment that says slavery is abolished. Okay, Lincoln got that passed. By the way, Lincoln, the Steven Spielberg movie, one of my favorite films of all time. But what's going on here is you need to find a way to make sure that these people aren't going to lose their citizenship. So this law was written with that in mind. And again, the originalist would say, then that's how we need to interpret the law. The problem is the Supreme Court has already gone in a different direction on this issue entirely, and it's all because of the way the law is written. So what Welsey Hunt, I'd recommend you do, and what I recommend this Democrat do, is actually, yes, redefine what it means to be an American citizen. There is a problem here. There's this weird loophole, and it can easily be closed if Congress would get off their rear ends and do something about it. Of course, we know this Democrat is not going to want to close this loophole, even though she's probably one of the ones that talks about, oh, the millionaires and billionaires have all these loopholes in their tax codes, despite the fact that they pay the vast majority of the taxes. But there is a loophole in one of our own amendments. And it's because it wasn't written with the 20th century in mind, because it had everything to do with a major problem that they had at the time. So it's a good amendment for the most part. It can easily be abused, and again, there is a loophole that Congress should close. I think Donald Trump is right on that, but I love Welsey Hunt's answer to this question, because he really defines what it means to be an American citizen, and perhaps embodies that spirit better than anyone else in Congress. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.